Okay, we are live on the internet now. We are the Nerd Ledger. Hello, everybody, and welcome. As always, it's me.
Hi.
It's
Yeah.
it's Chair. We're here.
It's
Um,
chair and cage and chair back in your ear.
yeah,
Or some other orifice. I don't know. Probably in your ear. I guess that's probably the only place we'd actually go. So, yeah. I see like
y-
put the vibrations up to your like chest or something like that and use that to parse out what we're saying, which would be very difficult to do because we talk very softly. So more power to you, brother.
right.
Anyway, back over to Cage. What are you talking about today with the what's
um,
going on in the comic book news? Something I know so much about.
yeah. We got pretty much today. We're just gonna talk about news, but I'm also simultaneously while I'm doing this, I have the Manchester United preseason game on because I'm not a professional, so suck it. Um, and yeah,
Mm,
I know that's weird,
no,
but I
we're
don't
none of
care.
us professionals. Trust me.
Yeah.
No worries. We'll make this short. We're gonna make this short stream today anyway because I have the house to myself and I like sitting on my front couch playing Pokemon on our big ass TV.
Yeah.
It's really entertaining, and they sell chicken nuggets by the 2 pound bag now at Food Max. God bless this country.
A two
That's all I
pound
gotta
bag, huh?
say. The 2 pound bag of chicken nuggets, bro. So yep.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So there's all that going on, but something I had thought about that I haven't asked you in a while is how's your book coming along?
You're cutting in and out. What'd you say?
Um, I said, hold on. I think it's okay. It's very laggy. It's very laggy.
A little laggy, yeah. Yeah, a little
Okay.
laggy.
I don't like the lag. It's annoying me. I'm gonna go plug in. BRB.
Yeah. You should always stream on hardwired and internet, like always. Like yeah. Uh, this stream is brought to you by the future. Hardwiring and was apparently faster than still having the information being directly to your computer somehow, some way. So yeah. I hope you guys are doing well. Uh, remember that if you go to like Food Max, you can buy like these little fajita flour tortillas, and they puff up kind of like little flatbreads when you cook them. Like you slather some butter on them and put them on a stove pan, they puff up. So you put some cheese in there, you have really good quesadilla, baby. It's like really really good. Don't do what I do then because I cooked it in a pan that was not nonstick. So that was, but I'm an experienced like stoner chef by this point. So that's kind of like it's like a just skill that I've acquired over time is just cooking things that you should not be cooked with things that normally wouldn't be used to cook that thing. But it's just how it is. You just sometimes you don't have any nonstick pans, and you got to use this pan that does stick, and you cook something like with cheese in it, and you just really. So I use butter kind of to grease the bottom of the pan, so that it wouldn't like get so like crazy and sticky in there. Cage is completely frozen. No, he's leaning up. Now he's completely frozen again. Frozen solid,
Wait, am I frozen?
captured eternally in space time,
I'm
trapped
frozen.
forever. This ceaseless existence. Anyway, guys, the Nerd Ledger is brought to you every Wednesday, 5:30 to 6:30. Most of the time, unless we're like really lazy, like we are today, we're over here for like till 6. I don't even know if this is going to be like captured and recorded for the podcast, but I hope you're having a great day, and I hope that all of your, I just hope that all of your dreams come true. I guess, or something along those lines. There he is.
Are we fixed? Hello.
Are you fixed? I don't know. Did you turn off? Did you disconnect? Did you disconnect from the Wi-Fi? Most important thing. It's going to
Yeah.
prioritize Wi-Fi over being hardwired in.
Well, I haven't. I
There
mean,
you go.
it shows I'm wired in. Should I disconnect from the Wi-Fi?
Okay.
Should I turn it
Yeah, you
off?
should. You shouldn't. Yeah. Just for your computer, yeah, not for the house, but like, yeah, you should. Just, tell your computer to try. So some thing will say, "Oh, this runs better on Wi-Fi," and that runs better on Wi-Fi with them. So
Hmm. Okay, well,
Yeah.
it disconnected me from everything and now reconnected me, so hopefully it's all fixed.
No, turn off the internet. Turn off the internet tab. Oh no, not the internet
N-
tab. Turn off the
No, no, I
turn
didn't turn
off,
off
off
the
the power
internet.
tab.
I just, yeah, I just. Okay, I'm gonna just close all this shit. Okay, sorry. I was asking you
Are we
about.
back?
Yeah, am I here? Are we good?
Okay. Yeah, it seems like we're good now.
Okay.
I just sneeze soon, so that's not good. But okay, what was the question?
I was asking you about the progress of your book.
It's not really going there right now. I've been doing a lot of writing. There's been a lot of personal stuff going on in my family and everything like that. We had a death in the family and everything, so just been dealing with all that and taking care of the dog during summer isn't easy because she gets a little temperamental because it's so hot, so it's hard to exercise her properly and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you just go out and toss the ball out. And so I've been doing much writing lately. I'm still thinking about it though. Like, and I have it all, like I have like 30 or 40,000 words down, so it's not like you don't have anything written down. And I got a lot of it kept upstairs, like in the old noggin, which is what you're not supposed to do. But it's still like the consistency of the canon has remained pretty steadfast. As I've had it in my head now for 3 or 4 years. So
Hmm.
we're just chugging along. Like, I got other priorities. I really want to get this real estate thing going so I can make some adult money so I can, stop being, poor and desperate all the time and squalid. And, just keep working at it. And eventually everything will work out. Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I just haven't been doing a lot of writing lately. But, it's still all there and everything. And it's still connected. And it's, still a story. It's still a consistent story. It's not like I let the plot, slip away from me or anything like that. So that's good.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you can get back to it soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Manchester United just conceded a goal, but the guy was offside by about a mile, and the referee didn't do shit about it. So, anyway,
I don't know what any of that means, but I assume it has something to do with football.
Yeah.
Football.
Yeah. It does. It does. All right. Well.
On Pokemon, they call the Pokemon Stadium field the pitch now. So
Oh.
we're kind of connected. We're kind of connected as friends now in that way. Yeah. That where I go out on the pitch to play Pokemon, and they're doing their because it's like the Sword and Shield, I have Shield. The Sword and Shield is based off the UK. The main stadium for the final city is based off that big Rose Stadium that they have in London,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really cool. And they do their chants and stuff like that when you're playing. Yeah. Everyone calls each other mate when they talk about fish and the fish and chips, and they use in it. It's funny when you. It's really funny when you watch when you read Japanese a Japanese property that was created to make be the UK. It's always this is the most stereotypical hilarious shit that some people may infer as racist if you look at it that way. But it's really funny. So you just shook your head like they made a bad kick in that game. And you felt it, bro.
He skied it. It's all right.
All right. What is going on in Nerdland today? Because there's not a whole lot going on. Because I think we're gonna feel the writers and actors strike in waves. That's what I think is gonna happen. It's gonna start breaking over us and over us and over us until that shit we're drowned. And how much everything is really brought to a halt.
We're feeling it in terms of already Comic-Con, right? And so usually Comic-Con is just concluded. We'd be talking about all the announcements out of Comic-Con. Really, it's just comic book announcements, which is great for people who love comic books. It's not.
But if you're like me, you don't know what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's some other stuff that's been kind of just some other kind of news, I guess. But yeah, so it's mostly all comic book news. One of the things we had talked about last week is you brought up that the girl who plays Miss Marvel will be writing her own comic book series, which is actually going to be a crossover, not a crossover, but essentially it's going to be about Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, joining the X-Men and becoming, essentially being aware that she's part mutant, right? And this might be weird to some people, I don't know, but this happens all the time where things that happen in the MCU will then influence how things work in comic books a little bit. Despite the fact that they're different universes, when Kamala Khan was introduced, she was an Inhuman. And at that time, the Disney didn't have the rights to the X-Men to make X-Men movies or anything like that. Now they do, and it's no secret that the X-Men are far more popular than the Inhumans. Like, it's not even close. And so, if Marvel had the option back then to make her an X-Men, they probably would have. And so now, she's gonna be both Inhuman, because you can't retcon that part of it. Like, she went in the cocoon, she got her powers, she was affected by the Terrigenesis, right? Like, you can't necessarily retcon that, but to then reveal that she also has mutant DNA, showing that she is a mutant, they can do that, and moving forward she'll be more mutant than Inhuman, because again, so like Marvel, they did this huge push back in like 2016, 2015, 2016, 2017, that around that time, for Inhumans. They made a big push for them, because
I remember that was the first time they really flopped.
Well, they made a push for them in comics. And it's to drive interest before they made what was supposed to be a movie that then got turned into a TV show.
They got swept under the rug.
Right. The TV show did poorly. The movie was supposed to happen. They canceled it to make the TV show. And as a result of all these things, Marvel realizes, well, we're not going to go anywhere with the Inhumans. Maybe we'll bring them up later and make them better or whatever. But we have Kamala Khan, and we want to use her, and in comics she's an Inhuman. So what do we do? And it looks like they've decided to say, well, yeah, she can be an Inhuman, but she's going to join the X-Men as a mutant, because she's also a mutant, and we've made her a mutant in the MCU already, and that's how we're going to make sense of all this. So, and yeah, Iman Vellani, I think that's her name, who plays Kamala Khan, will be writing that series.
Cool.
That comes out end of August or something like that. There's also a big comic book crossover event happening that you might be interested in. I always think these things are kind of dumb. Even like, I enjoyed like the Green Lantern Star Trek crossover, or the Star Trek Doctor Who crossover things that they did in comics, but they can get out of hand pretty quickly. So how's this for you? Godzilla vs. Kong vs. the Justice League.
I've never had other kaiju. I thought there were other kaiju that have been in DCEU before, like mentioned, like Joe Comments and stuff like that. I could have sworn that that's like a thing that's happened in the past. I feel like this is the first time I haven't seen Godzilla in the DC, doing something together.
Yeah. I mean, Godzilla's certainly been in comics. I don't know if he's crossed over before. But that is an interesting one. And it is going to be just a comic book series, I believe, a short series. But there is a movie coming out that is a crossover. I don't know if you'd be interested in this at all.
Wait, it's coming out like an actual like real movie, like with the same actors from the DCEU?
No, a different crossover that's going to be a movie.
Oh, okay.
And it's going to be Transformers crossover with G.I. Joe.
I mean, Hasbro, same universe. So I guess like if they're trying to make their own little toyverse or something like that, they can. But,
yeah, I kind of feel like they already did that, because weren't like the 3 original Transformers movies all like military movies to begin with?
They were kind of military movies. It was more like Michael Bay liking military porn and stuff like that, and also low-key spreading conspiracy theories, and just poking and prodding all the schizophrenic people across this country even more than they needed to be prodded. The government's got possession of dark technologies and stuff like that. And I don't know, I really like Bumblebee. I didn't get the chance to watch the new Transformers: Rise of the Beast because I just never got a chance to make it out to the theater to watch it.
It's on Paramount Plus already.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to go check that out at some point.
And apparently, this has already happened. Apparently, at the end of that movie, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but apparently one of the Autobot allies gets recruited to be a G.I. Joe.
Yeah, like I said, Hasbro, like there was a lot of weird cartoon like crossovers. Like they used to do like those commercials, like in the '80s and '90s when like the characters from different cartoons would like do like an anti-smoking or anti-drinking or anti-drug ad or something like that. So like this doesn't seem too beyond the pale to me because I'm kind of used to stuff like that from like just again watching all those hyper commercialized cartoons back in yesteryear. But I just think that these two GI Joe movies that came out are awful. Like they weren't very fun. Like they weren't very good. They were way too intense for GI Joe. Was supposed to be really chill and like hilarious and fun. It's like funny. And the
Yeah, I
second
didn't I
movie was
didn't
more.
watch them, but
I
what
really
was
like GI Joe, but because I just grew up with it as a kid. Like it's one of the things I grew up with.
so
Um,
are you talking about Snake Eyes as well?
no, I didn't see Snake Eyes. I forgot that was a thing. That's how you know. But maybe it was really cool. I don't know. Maybe I should see it. Now that I forgot about that one. I saw the first one and the second one. The second one was like at least a lot more fun because it had like all the big vehicles and stuff like that, which is like part of like why people like GI Joe is like just how cool everything looks. Like the second one had like the big submarine battle with like and those toys were really cool if you ever had it back in the day because they could actually go to water. But yeah, just dope stuff.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't blow my mind. I'll probably go see it. I don't see why, I don't see why I wouldn't. Again, because like, for me, like it's Hasbro, like it's like it's kind of in the same toyverse, like in
Yeah.
the way like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is technically DC, but you never really see them in DC. Like it only crosses over. It's very weird and like jarring almost. They're in New York City, but they're also like not in New York City because they're in DC.
Well,
So
Star Wars is Marvel, but they don't take place in the same universe still.
yeah,
Well, I mean, like, because even like within DC, right, you have infinite worlds and infinite universes, and then within Marvel, that's the same is pretty much true. So,
yeah.
yeah.
For sure. Like you can always make something up or like come up with a reason for why something is. Like that's what What If basically is all about, just like these random stories.
Yeah.
What else is going on out there?
Um. So the Miss Marvel thing I was talking about is going to be called the New Mutant. Haha. In other comic book news, Black Widow is going to become Venom's new host. She gets her own symbiote suit. In DC news, there's a new Wonder Woman series called Amazon's Attack. It's an event. It's going to be starring Nubia and Mary Marvel. Yep, I talked about this already, but Rise of the Beasts is already on Paramount Plus for anybody who wants to watch that.
Yeah.
This will probably annoy people, but I don't care. I'm gonna read it anyway. Batman and Robin will introduce a female version of Hush named Shush. It sounds like a parody to me when when you have Shush. Like I don't know. It just sounds like a parody fan fiction, but it could be good. I don't know if you're familiar at all with Hush as a
Nope,
villain.
not the slightest.
Oh, essentially, he was like a good friend of Bruce Wayne's as a kid. He grows up and becomes a villain. All these bad things happen to him and shit. And,
Hmm.
then he has a vendetta and takes it out on Bruce as Batman because he knows he's Batman and all this stuff. And it's a lot of people really like Hush. I like Hush. But it's weird to introduce a female Hush called Shush. I don't know. It just sounds funny to me. But it could be great. Could be great.
Yeah.
Something else. I don't know. Like, I think we've mentioned it here a couple of times, but years ago, Sony had announced all these Spider-Man villain spin-off movies that they were working on. Because Venom 1 was successful, so they decided, hey, we'll just keep making a bunch of these movies that nobody wants to see.
Yep.
And one of the ones they announced was called Jackpot, right? And not a lot of people know who Jackpot is. Most people hear Jackpot and assume it's a dude. It's not. It's a woman. She was introduced in comics recently, like, I don't know, 6-7 years ago. And so that was announced. I'm pretty sure it got scrapped at some point because, again, nobody cares. But someone might care now because Mary Jane Watson is going to be debuting as Jackpot in a new Marvel series that it hasn't released yet. It's going to release next month sometime. And the demand already is so high that they are printing a second edition already. And for people who don't know how comic books work, it's similar to think about the original Pokemon cards. It's not like It's not like, well, we'll just print more. What they do is they print a first run, and then if they need to, they'll print a second run with a banner on it that says second printing. And then if those sell out, they'll do a third run where it says third printing, and et cetera, et cetera. Like, that's how they look. And in some cases, second printings are worth a lot too. One example is Across the Spider-Verse Part 2. I believe it's 2. It could be 3. It's the first appearance of Spider-Gwen. I have first, second, third, fourth, fifth printings of that. So, yeah, those things can be worth a lot. But yeah, they're already on the second printing. That doesn't mean you can't get the first printing still, because again, it hasn't been released yet. So a lot of times, again, if people don't know how this works, most comic book stores have customers. They work on subscription kind of things where they send you a list of everything coming out in a week, or whatever, preview solicitations, and you write down like what you want, and they put it aside in a box for you, and you pick up your comic books every week that you request. And so a lot of times they don't have them on the shelves, but not every store works that way. Not everybody buys them all. So there's still opportunities for you to find them on shelves somewhere, I'm sure, when they do come out.
Yeah, I don't buy comic books, so I don't know anything about all that stuff. But I'll be your comic books. It's important.
Yeah. Great. Well, I mean, I haven't bought comic books in a long time, but I'm familiar with the whole process. Spider-Gwen is also getting a new Marvel series, comic book series. Again, all we got is these announcements for comic books, pretty much. There was a rumor about a Sam Raimi Spider-Man 4. Don't know the truth of that. Don't really care. Again, it's a rumor. There was something else. I mean, I pretty much already know what it is, but I want to find it so I can get it right. I don't know if this is something you'd be interested in, but this is something that always leads to clickbait titles. And when I read the title, I knew it was clickbait. But, geez, I can't even find it. I'll just tell you what it is. Essentially, a Crisis on Infinite Earths movie was announced. Along with the Watchmen movie, right?
Okay. And Crisis on Infinite Earth is that's DC, right?
That's DC, yeah. It's a big one of their biggest events. People, I mean, overwhelmingly like it. And so this was announced. I read that headline and I thought, oh, here it is. Yes, here. This site actually reported it correctly, but most of the headlines read like this: Crisis on Infinite Earths and Watchmen movies confirmed by DC. And immediately I thought, no, they weren't. They're animated. And yeah, they're animated. People read these things and assume they're going to be live action, but if it sounds ridiculous, right? Like, if it sounds like something that wouldn't have been announced, it's probably ridiculous. To think that, like, James Gunn is starting his DCU and he's already going to do Crisis on Infinite Earths, that wouldn't happen. So it'll be animated. It'll probably be good, because their animated stuff is always better than their live action stuff for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Watchmen as well is getting some animation.
I think it's because the animated stuff is a lot more like enjoyable and like fun and colorful, and it pops and it fills you with joy. And all those things that are important for viewing.
Yeah, there's also going to be a new Punisher, a new person being Punisher, a guy named Joe Garrison in comics. So there's that. Superior Spider-Man is coming back. He's getting an ongoing from Dan Slott, who wrote the original and then did an Amazing Spider-Man run for a long time with Mark Bagley as well. And then non-comic book news, I guess. I don't know who cares about this, but somebody might. Video gamers out there who like Mortal Kombat, they've announced a DLC for Mortal Kombat 1, which I'm pretty sure doesn't even come out till next year, so I don't know why they're announcing a DLC already. But yeah, they've announced a DLC. It includes 3 guest characters: Peacemaker from DC, played by John Cena, Omni-Man from Invincible, and Homelander from The Boys. The combat pack also includes 3 Mortal Kombat originals, Quan Chi, Ermac, and Takeda.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I always rent the Mortal Kombat games so I can play through the campaign because it's really entertaining. I never really get into fighting games that much because I can personally just never get the combos down. Like it's just something I can't figure out.
Yeah.
But that being said, though, they've had they had the Terminator. They had some. I remember they had a DCU character. I can't remember who it was.
Well, they had Injustice, which was all DC, right? And then they brought in like Ninja Turtles and Hellboy on there, and
Hellboy. Yeah, but I remember Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat like had a couple. Didn't it have like wasn't there a Mortal Kombat DC crossover like in 2007 or 2008 or something like that?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I remember that.
Yeah. So it doesn't surprise me that.
Yeah, because you could fight, right? You could like there was a like a championship thing where you like fight your way up, and at the top you fight Darkseid.
Yeah, I remember that now. So it's not like anything too crazy or too out of nowhere or anything like that. Surprised that they're just what character did you say they're bringing to Mortal Kombat again? What character specifically did you say they were?
Peacemaker.
Okay.
Omni-Man from Invincible. And Homelander from The Boys.
I guess since all those series are pretty violent, I guess they pretty much just slip right in. Like instead, because you don't want to like I don't know. I just feel like it'd be really different if they brought in like someone like Batman or Superman, where they'd be like ripping people apart to shreds and stuff like that, or like doing crazy. Well, they wouldn't do that kind of stuff because they're heroes. So I guess
unless you're playing Injustice, where they frequently do that stuff.
Well, they don't kill you though. Batman just throws you into the air and has his bat jet shoot you a gajillion times with like high caliber explosive rounds as you hurtle down to the earth, but you live, so it's okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's right. So, but yeah, that's all the news. That's all of the news. All the comic book news and whatnot. But I mentioned last week that I put out an album, and it was only on SoundCloud when I talked about it. And that album is now available everywhere: Spotify, Apple Music, all those things.
Wow.
So if you are interested in listening to it, you can just look up the band name Immolation at Midnight, or the album name I Used to Have Friends, and I'm sure you'll find it. I did put out another album just on SoundCloud, but I don't like how those masters came out because they didn't come out as masters. So I'm remastering all of it, and I will be eventually releasing it and distributing it as well through all those streaming things.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, but anyway, we're gonna call a short one today because for some reason my throat's hurting a little bit, and you wanna chillax.
Sit on the couch, not do anything, and play Pokemon. You can do little Pokemon raids now. And I just remember as a kid being so alone, not being able to trade any Pokemon because there was no like wireless internet. Now I can do it all the time. So I'm always hyped about Pokemon multiplayer. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, thanks everybody for listening, for watching, for whatever. You can always follow the Twitch channel to watch us live. Big shout out to some guy on YouTube. I don't remember his name, but he just stumbled across the YouTube video and he was like, "Yo, I love this is great. Like I'm gonna subscribe, and I can't believe you only have 12 subscribers." And I was like, "Oh no." And he was like, "Maybe one day I could be a guest." And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Maybe when we have a Discord or some shit figured out. I don't fucking know."
We can figure out how guests work.
Yeah. But yeah, that was nice. So shout out to that guy. You guys can follow on Twitch if you want to know when we go live. You can watch us live, join in the chat and whatnot. You can subscribe on YouTube if you want to watch the videos after the fact, or if you just want to listen wherever you listen to podcasts. Subscribe on there. Much love, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.